All right, so this is going to be a review of Crime 101. Came out earlier this year. It's got Chris Hemsworth in it. It's directed by Bart Layton. I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, this looks pretty good, but I didn't get the chance to see it in the theater. It's on Prime, so I was like, okay, I'll watch it and review it now. All right, so in this we have Mike, played by Chris Hemsworth. He's a jewel thief, and he does these robberies of jewels whenever they're being transported. He always has information on who's transporting them and things like that, their families, and he has a very specific way that he does it. He plans things out. He does it to where he doesn't leave any evidence, and whether there's no violence, he doesn't hurt anybody during it. It's all planned out beforehand, so it all goes perfectly. And he even has a way of switching out cars right after, things like that. So he's really really good at this. Also, we have Lou, played by Mark Ruffalo. He's the detective that's going after him. He's the main detective that's like, hey, there's a connection between uh, these robberies, and he's the main person saying that it's the same person, that there's a pattern to it, and so he's the main person going after him. And then also we have Sharon, played by Halle Berry. She works like this insurance company, and Mike is getting her involved in this too, or trying to, based on her circumstances and difficulties at her job and things. He's trying to convince her to help him on his next job. This movie was good. It was really good for a good while of it. I was really enjoying it, but I do think it I do think it kind of has an underwhelming ending. But getting to the positives, cinematography was great. Great look to this movie. It's very sleek looking and everything. There's a chase scene between Mike and this other character, Orman, played by Barry Keoghan. We will definitely get back to Barry Keoghan in this. That chase scene was great, fast paced, well edited, and everything. It was really fun to watch. The performances, all great by pretty much everyone. Even Barry Keoghan gives a good performance for the character, even though I didn't like the character. Like I said, we'll get back to him. What really works about this is that, with these different characters, Sharon, Lou, and Mike, uh, even though we're seeing it from three perspectives, it transitions between them really well, and it's seamless, and it feels like, even though there's these three characters and we get their backgrounds and things like that, uh, it still feels like one whole story that we're being told from these perspectives. And I think that works really well, seeing everything that Mike does, and then going over to Lou piecing things together. It really works. And then Holly Berry's character Sharon, seeing her background, she's really smart, able to read people really well and things like that. She's blatantly being used, being used by the insurance company that she works at. And she should have been partner years ago, and then she's been waiting on that. And it makes it really believable that she would potentially get involved with Mike and be his contact so that he can steal insured jewels and things. I think that really works. There's some really great interactions between the characters.
Got the clothes, the cars, but you can't seem to look me in the eye. And I bet you didn't grow up with the money.
How do you figure that?
Because people who grow up in chaos crave order.
That brings us to negatives. I enjoyed this movie for so much of it. I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I was like, well, I didn't hear too many people talking about it. I don't know how other people feel about it. I was like, wow, yeah, I'm surprised more people weren't praising this. And then as it went on, it started to not be as good, especially by the end. Starting off, this is something that I was mostly able to get over, but the suspension of disbelief here. I mean, you see this man pull this off. I mean, he almost gets shot and everything. That's because, things went wrong. But for the most part, you see how he does this. Takes people's phones, uses their phones to pretend to be them, and things like that. Takes people's phones and then actually gives it back to them. He makes sure not to hurt anybody. He does it in a way to where he doesn't have to. Just the threat of potentially hurting someone or their families enough. And you see all that, and then he drives off, and he's driving all fast and everything. And it's like it's like he's in a chase scene, but he's just him going to switch cars. And it's like, okay, all these that you've been doing, no cop has been like, "Hey, why is that guy going so fast?" And then it gets worse. Like when there's a really good chase scene where Mike is chasing after Ormond, Barry Keoghan's character, and they are just like speeding through traffic and all up and down the street and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, at some point, a police officer would see this and get involved, right? Never happens. I'm like, okay, like this is crazy. It's like, it's almost on the level of like GTA or something. It's like, okay, they didn't get a wanted level, so I guess they're all right. A bigger problem is Barry Keoghan. So Barry Keoghan, his character is an idiot, and this character is doing, you get to see him do a job that Mike had originally planned out, and it is, it is ridiculous. Seeing the way Mike does it and seeing the way this character does it, it's like it's night and day. And it's like, okay, you see the way that Mike does it, it's like, okay, it's believable. He got away with it for the most part. I don't understand how Barry Keoghan's character gets away with anything he does. I mean, he's loud. He's like tripping over himself. He barely gets the key for the briefcase of the thing that he's trying to get. He does it inside where there are other people there, and so he starts taking more things, and the alarm goes off, and he has to like yell at them to open the door for him to be able to leave, and it takes forever. And it's like, how are the cops not already like nearby by the time he leaves? And it's ridiculous. I mean, he goes in loud and does all this stuff, and I'm like, how has this guy not already been caught and put in jail? I was like, I don't believe that at all. And the character, he's so he's such an idiot, especially compared to the rest of the movie, that it kind of feels like he broke into this movie from something else. He feels out of place in this movie, and you don't really get to know much about him. Like we jump between Mike, Lou, and Sharon, and you get to know them, their backgrounds, and things like that. And you got this character that you don't really get to know anything about. The ending was just underwhelming to me. It just was. Like this is like almost a 2.5 hour movie. A lot of setup and background, getting to know the characters and things. And the ending, I was just like, whatever. Especially with Mike, with Chris Hemsworth. I was like, wow, that really wasn't much, was it? And yeah, there's a mystery around this guy. He's kind of mysterious. He's seeing this woman that ran into his car when he was at a stoplight. It's so such a dumb thing that she ran into him while he stopped at a stoplight that I almost expected her to be something more, but no. But it's this thing where he doesn't want to talk about his childhood and things like that. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get that at some point. It's gonna be like an impactful thing to find out. You don't really get much from that. He grew up poor, and you don't really get much more than that. He had this chaotic childhood, but we don't really go into it. It's like that feels like a waste. Overall, I still think it's a good movie. I still enjoyed it mostly. I think it ended underwhelming for all that I'd seen up to the end. I was like, really? That's it? I don't care for that. But yeah, like I said, overall good. I'm gonna give it a good enough. I mean, it didn't quite reach the potential. That makes it really frustrating, but either way, I was still really entertained. So there it is. That's Crime 101. Good enough. Subscribe, and we're done.